All right, welcome to class 3, part 2, the power of brushwork, session 1, sky and trees. And we are gonna quickly go ahead and check out your guys' awesome homework and what you guys have been doing. And we're gonna start with our good friend Diane Lewis, who I just ran by. BBC.
Very first one, I think.
Yep.
Oh,
There
it's
it
out
is.
of order here, okay.
In class,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, let's see if that drops. Maybe I just messed up. There we go.
There you go.
All right, so Diane Lewis, nice job on this guy. Really came along beautifully. I know this is not the one you want to talk about, or is this the one you want to talk about?
No, actually, the next one, but I really appreciated, I felt like from the input from you in the class, it really helped me to make changes that I didn't see until people pointed it out.
Oh, good.
Beautiful.
Good. And yeah, you can see front lit off to the left side, hitting across, nice job. So you can really see how this pertains to everything. All right, Diane, tell us a little bit about this pretty guy here.
Palm Springs, it's one of my favorite places, any place. It's a largest natural palm grove in North America.
Okay.
Indian Canyon. So palm trees, I found it
Oh.
very, very challenging. And my husband said it looks like artichokes.
That's funny. So the creek is right through here?
It's not a creek, well, maybe it is actually. There is water. I don't know.
Okay. I love Indian Canyon. Oh man, that is a cool spot.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Quickly tell me, what are your thoughts and questions about this?
I really struggled with the palm trees. There was just so much information. And yeah, so I guess just how you do the lines so it makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. And I didn't see the hills going back, like it didn't get very much softer in the photograph. So to create the depth, I kind of made it softer than I saw in the photograph. So just, yeah, I guess perspective.
Okay, those are great observations and completely true. So the reason that your shadows going back into space in your photo probably look much darker than you painted them is because what your camera did is said, oh, I think she wants to see the sky. So to make it so that the camera can capture this, it's gonna darken your shadows.
Okay.
So a lot of times, Diane, what I'll do is I will take a photo and touch my screen on my iPhone or whatever, touch the screen into the clouds, and it'll boom, and all of a sudden all this will just turn to black, really dark. And I'll take that photo. Then I will push the button, the same scene, keeping it as steady as I can, and touch into the shadows. And all of a sudden you're gonna see all this detail reveal itself, and the mountains are gonna get a lot more depth and atmosphere in them, but the sky is gonna be bleached out.
Yeah.
And then I touch into a mid value.
Okay.
And then you're getting kind of the best of both, or some of both worlds, but you're getting information there. A lot of times, Diane, I am painting from multiple photos of the same thing because our eye adjusts. When we look into the shadows, all of a sudden we can see into the shadows, but again, this will probably get brighter. And then when we look into the sky, all of a sudden this will become dark, just like the camera is doing. So it's guessing.
Yeah.
It says, I see all of these beautiful things.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that Diane at this point wants me to look at the clouds.
This is very helpful.
So I'm sure you guys have seen that, where you've taken like 3 or 4 photos of the same thing, and all of a sudden some areas are really dark, other areas are bleached out, other areas, all of that. So you need to tell the camera where you want it to look.
Yeah.
Or where it wants you to focus. So, and that's the cool thing about the iPhone is you literally just touch the area on the screen before you take the photo.
Yeah.
So yes, that was a super good observation. I would even say this is still way too dark.
Yes. Given the information.
See how that
you're
wants to
telling
come?
me.
how
Yeah.
that wants to come forward. And you see even just that line right there floating. How it wants to come forward, this area wants to come forward. So it's really interesting, because yeah, this probably needs to be your darkest dark, because not only is it the shadow, but you're looking into darkness, you're looking into the shadows. Whereas these other things are probably getting some reflected light back in from the dome of the sky. So you did a great job, and you really doctored that up well. And that's a lot of the times what I have to do. Like, let's just say I only took one photo and I love the sky and I got a lot of interesting and fun information and it's a beautiful place and I want to capture it, but my shadows are too dark. Then I have to make a decision. You know, if I paint these all, imagine if all these lines were black, which it may look like in your photo.
Right.
It's going to look very graphic and much flatter, and you're not going to have this recession of space. You're not going to feel this quarter mile, half mile of openness that's happening here. So you did a great job, really. And you already look at what you've done, the sides of the clouds and the bottoms of the clouds. You're already getting a lot of that information. The sides of the trees that you can see the tops of the trees and then only the sides of the trees as they're going back into space. So you really, you already did your homework if you
My brain is hurting from your class.
good. Good. No pain, no gain, baby.
Thank you so much. You really
Great job. This is a beautiful picture.
painting.
And then sometimes with these palm trees, this is a cool light. Sometimes those palm trees do have a reflective quality to them, and you get these kind of whites on top where it's not as bright green that I might want it to be. So you probably did it correcter than I would, just because I hesitate to paint reflective bushes very often, but really nice. I think this is one of my favorite paintings I've seen of yours. It's really good.
Okay, thanks so much. And I think I'll work on even softening the background a little more. Yeah, that's just, I've painted so much just from the photograph, not understanding what the camera does. So this is really instructive.
Perfect.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well,
I'll be
good luck
back.
at your
Dentist appointment.
your little appointment, whatever that is.
Okay.
I hope you win. All right, Cheryl, do you want to talk about any of yours here?
The one, that window, I was talking to somebody on a Thursday and I said that I had done this with with 9 separate canvases.
Yeah, that's
And that when you hung them on the wall, the shadows made it look like a window. So
really
this
does.
is a picture of, and it's an actual scene, but I did take some things out, but it's the scene from the house on Tilden Pond. It was just perfect that night. And I got up in the middle of the night and took pictures.
It's lovely. Yeah, I love that effect. It really, I mean, when you look at it in the small, you really do feel like it's framed in with like an old, a door, like the top of a door. Yeah, that's really cool. I love how the cast shadows lead to that effect of like that there's almost a perspective on the panes. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
No, that would be the panes. The whatever the thing in between them is called.
That's just the wall.
Yep, I know, but it looks 3-dimensional. It tricks our eyes at first. Very cool.
Okay,
All right.
that I did this morning because I had the last couple of weeks have been kind of weird, and the more I tried to paint, the worse it got. So this morning I did this one just to see if I could do it.
Great. Yeah, in this quadrant here, from the transition from the blue to the yellow, you're gonna need actually more white.
Okay.
Actual white paint, not the white of the canvas.
Right.
Yeah, and that'll create a better, because right now it's very rainbow.
I noticed something else that I was confused about, and I didn't reflect it here, but there was in the photograph, when you looked at the tree, it was lighter, like a halo around it.
Yep.
And I was trying to figure out why that was.
backlit.
Well, it is backlit, but the sky, the quality of the blue was lighter, and I don't have a reference. Well, I do have a reference, but I don't have it on my phone.
Kind of like that,
Okay,
but more like that.
yeah, okay,
So it's backlit, but slightly, if we're looking at that tree, slightly to the right, so kind of
Yeah.
thinking this pair back here.
but it wasn't the tree, it was the blue in the sky.
That's probably the camera trying to make sense of it.
Okay, well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I often see that in my photos where all of a sudden it pulls out this kind of blue. It's trying to figure out the transition. I mean, our cameras are so smart. They're literally thinking like, what can I do? What am I supposed to see? Like, they're making all these funny corrections. I just got the new lighting system here in the studio and I was trying to show it off to some of my art friends. And my silly camera is it's got AI in it. And it's constantly adapting. So I would change the colors and the lighting on my lights, and then the camera would adjust to it. And they're like, I'm not seeing much change. Oh, I saw it change. Oh, now it's back. And I'm like, it's because the camera is constantly adjusting. So that's why it's important that we go out and observe. Photos only get us a fraction of the way. There's great information in there and stuff, but it only, until we learn to observe and truly see. I mean, there's so many times like when the sun is setting, I'll just walk into my backyard and just observe how the light is hitting the different bushes and trees and grasses and just look and just asking myself, you know, I don't mind looking like a crazy person, you know, so I can be a better teacher for all of you guys. And there's Don's painting, and Donna Goldstein's trying to cheat and get ahead of the class. Look at you, Donna. Are you here today, Donna? Today? Anyways, hopefully, yeah, great example of backlit, shadow coming forward. Even this one also has a reflected light behind us, hitting these apples. Apples are beautiful and so fun to paint. I love painting almost everything, but they are very shiny, especially how they package apples now, where they put that actual wax on them to protect them. So a lot of fun. If you ever want to really torture yourself, you guys, put a yellow squash, a yellow banana, and a yellow lemon out and paint a still life of that, and it'll make you go crazy. Because painting shadows of only yellow objects and then go, wait, they're all turning green. All my shadow areas are green, but I don't see green. It's a very interesting challenge. All right, Donna Sires, look at you. How you doing?
I am doing well. Now, there's somebody pressure washing across the street, so hopefully it's not too much background noise.
Can't hear it, but
Okay, good.
Good. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about what you did, what you liked, what you thought about it, and maybe what you might. Well, I don't know. Whatever you want to tell us. Tell us.
Well, it's the first time I've used acrylic for a painting, and I wanted to try the black and white. And what I started out doing was just doing the different levels of the values, and then I decided, no, I want to put in some grays to give it more. And so after listening to you, I need to soften up the background, and when I paint over it, I think it's an okay base to start off of, but I want to make the trees, I want everything to look right, where I was just kind of concentrating on the 4 value levels.
Great. Well, you nailed it. I mean, the values, again, if we squint our eyes, it really reads really well. It recedes into space. It's got the clear delineation between the values. Yeah, I mean, your trees, look a little ridiculous. And
Yeah.
it looks like you just kind of squashed them in really fast, and I don't, that's fine, because that's what the exercise was. It looks to me like you learned quite a lot by doing this.
I did.
Yeah, so, and yeah, you say I need to, soften edges and stuff. You don't need to, you can.
Okay.
That will help that fall into space and read as farther back. Probably, because you do have softer edges in other areas. There's no need to do anything. What I'm offering is tools that you can use to help get your idea and the feeling of depth and space or whatever it is better. So yeah, but yes, I think it would help to soften these edges.
Okay.
But really nice job. I mean, the picture reads so fast and so quick and so easily to the viewer that I think this is great information for you. I think it's really going to help you going forward. Can you imagine this with the Lavender Festival? Like just knowing this and all of a sudden, oh, like all this depth and oh, there's Mount Hood back there. I want to hint at it, but not, it really helps to cement the idea in place of what's happening in your landscape. And then you can go, you know what? I'm actually out here to capture these beautiful, colors and and then you can focus on that because you've got your design, you've got your value structure in place. You might even want to go out and do your underpainting really quickly with acrylics when you're out there just to see, because you can knock it all in. You can change, like if you went, oh, Mount Hood's way too tall, take some white paint right over the top of it and paint it again, or you know what I mean? It's acrylics are very versatile and easy to go back and forth and over and back cross stitch. So great job. I'm excited for you. Great example. All right, Gail. Is this one new for this class?
Yeah, and I redid the ones from last week. I was based on the comments last week, I redid several of them. So I took out the suggestion of white clouds.
Yeah, and just feel how much more cohesive this is.
Yeah.
If we have the example still.
Yeah, it's down there. Yeah.
Yeah. You see how that just kind of it just feels out of place.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, even when we're looking at photos and stuff, I'm just like, yeah, that's, it works in the photo, but it just doesn't work in my painting. So a lot of times, as I feel like, oh, I'm done, I'll go take a 5-10 minute break. And then I just kind of come back and start to skim my eye across the painting and just say, who feels out of place? Who feels like they, need to be more pronounced or more subdued? Great job. Yeah. I mean, this to me feels better now.
Yeah, that was the green and orange one.
Yep.
And I left some of the yellow kind of peek through there. And I really liked that because it looked like the sun was kind of playing off some of the clouds during the storm.
Exactly. Great. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. So, and then that was the assignment for this week.
Okay, so you got you kind of did it in 3 values because you don't really have the hills or anything, but that's great. Yeah, nicely played. Again, if we squint our eyes, it just reads so quickly, doesn't it? Just having kind of a simple 3 value pattern, even though it feels simplistic, it really helps the viewer. And then you can come in and do all these cool little effects and gradations of color and temperature and everything else. Again, when I get that 4 values or 3 values or whatever locked in, it just makes the rest of it more fun because I've dealt with the big issues. I've dealt with the big design. I've dealt with the big structural elements. And now I get to come in and play with color, temperature, and edges. How was this any of this new information to you, Gail, about kind of just simplifying the value structure in the landscape?
No, that's something I've done, but with just the burnt sienna value study, I really like adding the dark, the burnt umber in the value studies. and doing the dark shapes, and some of the effects that I like then are laying in the dark shapes, like the bushes on the right, and then coming back. And I just really like what the paint does then when you put a little highlight in it. It mixes with
Yeah.
yeah, and it looks so natural. And some of that happened with the water too. So I really like doing the underpainting in more than just the burnt sienna. I like the wider range, and then you can get the wider range of tones, and that's what I've is different, and that's what I really like. And that's what I was trying to do here in the sky. You know, there's 3 or 4 tones, but they're really tight together.
Yeah, and I feel like your light source is kind of over here. It's a soft light.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of in this area, and these are being kind of rim lit. And what I really like is this guy is straight backlit, whereas this guy's a little bit to the left side. The light's coming across.
Yeah.
You get to see how that creates this like unified sense of light. The light's coming down. And it gives it's not a lot of form.
No.
It gives it enough form. It gives it enough structure that, this doesn't feel like a black cutout, where this one feels a little more cut out, but then you have the rim light, the soft edges, which help us to know that this is a leafy structure. The light's getting in there, bouncing around a little bit. It's a little more dissipated. Yeah, nice job.
What
Yeah.
colors do you use, Gail?
I mix a dark that is burnt umber, transparent red oxide, and ultramarine blue. And that's the center. And then I push the red oxide, which is a transparent of burnt sienna, but I push then out of that center thing, just like Michael shows. I make that block, and then I push the sienna or the transparent red for the lighter areas, push the umber and the ultramarine for the darker areas. And it just gives a wider range of values, I think. And you can play up the color really subtly. Like there's a lot of ultramarine blue in those shadows. You wouldn't know it because I had that mother color mixed in the middle.
Lovely. Maybe I'll do a little demo of that with because I do the same thing. And I used to just either do burnt or ultramarine and the transparent or ultramarine and the burnt. But now by mixing 3, especially when you go in and wipe out the transparent brown, stains the canvas more than the other 2 colors. So you get this kind of, I'll show you guys when we get up to the easel here. All right, Jane, nice job.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's cool. So Jane is on her first oil painting, is that true?
Yeah, and I felt like I was all thumbs and a stranger in a strange land.
Good. Oh man, you guys need to see. My wife has made me keep a couple of my very first oil paintings from when we were first married, and I literally came home and I was just like from the studio I was actually class because I was still in college, and I told my wife, I'm like, this is why I'm not a painter. This is why I'm draw. I didn't paint hardly at all in college. I didn't start painting till after college, after art school. I kind of hated painting. It was especially oils. What a freaking nightmare. What messes I made.
I did not know what the hell I was doing as far as mixing colors or loading the brush. I felt like I was a kindergartner. I understand the values completely, but translating it to the canvas paper, like I said, it looks like a 3rd grader did it or kindergartner.
No,
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't.
a lot of no, you're a 2nd grader for sure.
Oh, gee, thanks.
No, but the truth is, Jane, a lot of times this is how my first pass at the painting is, and then I kind of let that tack up, and then I come across it and start painting into it, because a lot of times, I mean, I've got stacks of them that are about at this level, except mine are 3rd grade, but
You're being very kind.
no, but I'm being serious. Yeah, a lot of times because oils are weird. When you watch like that dueling easels that Anton and I did, and you see us just building it up so fast. that takes years of practice, or, you know, a lot of paintings at least. To where you all of a sudden go, oh, if I use, you know, more paint and less pressure with the brush, I can, you know, keep
Yeah.
adding paint.
Well,
It's
coming-
not obvious.
Coming from watercolors, you know, where I just felt like I had the control I needed to get the result I needed. I mean, I'm learning how to paint all over again. I haven't painted in 30 years. And to go into, what I probably should have done was painted watercolors for a year or so before I did this, but you know, it is
Oh,
what it
it'd be
is.
harder.
Yeah, this is, my brushes were so gooped up and not really knowing how to clean them or anything. I probably spent 3 hours at this and said, I think I'm gonna go back to watercolors.
Yeah, I mean, if you do want to paint with watercolor, I would suggest actually going to gouache or including gouache with your watercolors,
Okay,
which is a more opaque watercolor.
right, yeah,
And I think, I mean, there's so many great gouache painters and so many oil painters are using gouache, and I use it when I travel. Sometimes when I don't want to, you know, have the whole setup, because I can just set up gouache on a table, I can set it up literally in a restaurant, you know, while I'm waiting for my whatever. And so gouache is really versatile, and what gouache does is it's that in between where you've got the transparency and the luminosity of watercolors, but you can use it almost straight out of the tube,
yeah,
and it can be quite opaque. And so what I really like about gouache versus watercolor is watercolors are super not forgiving. Right? You're trying to preserve your lights, but with gouache you can go back and paint your lights over the top.
I guess I never had a problem with that because the lights were always the paper.
Yeah, but you gotta preserve it. What happens when you accidentally get paint on there and stuff?
I don't know, because I never have.
God bless you.
Can you switch back to camera? I can show you the last painting I ever did.
Yeah, this camera that falls down every time I move my chair, the cord's all wrapped up. Okay, so let me do, take myself off spotlight. Let's spotlight.
I'm getting
Hey, look at that
reflections. There we
gorgeous.
go.
Ooh, how
Oh,
beautiful.
that's beautiful.
Very nice.
That's our
Oh, that's
lighthouse.
amazing.
But
Yeah,
you can
that-
see the foreground. I had no idea how to paint rocks. I knew how to paint the building and I knew how to paint the sky. But the
Yeah,
rocks, what's
that would
that?
make my brain explode. Like I just trying to make it so perfect the first pass. You guys just see how I build up my paint. So yeah, it's just such a different way of thinking. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But again, the foreground, I didn't know how to paint rocks, so that kind of fell flat.
Yeah, so interesting. We'll talk about rocks in the next class.
Okay,
Not the next class, the next series, but all right. Nice job though, that was fun. All right, do you guys see the Padlet again?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna start to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Kristen Horn, do you have any questions? Great job here. I mean, this is another just great example of reading your values, right? Are you here, Kristen, anyways?
Yep.
Okay, any questions or feedback? Your thoughts on that?
No, I got it. I posted it and then looked at it in my studio and said, oh crap, sorry. My design is come all screwed up here. This needs, it reads wrong. It needs to take its little, go back over here. And,
See where you're pointing, but
oh, okay. Well, the design, the meandering of the creek is not correct. So it doesn't, for me, it looks like it's wrong, and I can fix that.
yeah, it feels like it's coming downhill towards us.
Yes, yes, because I didn't put the jogs in it.
But
The
if you were to crop that, if you could hold your hand up just underneath that little pine tree, so it's a very horizontal painting, it's beautiful.
Yep.
Here.
Cut it off
Interesting.
below that little baby pine tree.
Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. or just open this creek up this angle a little bit here, take this shadow and put it right about here. We'll do
Okay.
something similar, yeah, it's just a couple more horizontals and, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But you
that's,
did- Go ahead.
I knew I needed to fix the design, which would have been appropriate before I started putting paint on it, but like Donna, this is the first time I've done anything with acrylic and like I said earlier in the, before the meeting, I treated it more like a underpainting for a colored painting on top of it.
Perfect.
And so I figured I can fix it.
100%. No, this is excellent. And you got the values. I mean, everything is going in your favor. And the fact that you're able to go, okay, you know what? And with acrylics, you can fix that in no time at all. I mean,
Right.
that's what I love about acrylics. It's just back and forth, back and forth. In the last class, the last session of classes, I was showing everybody a wave painting that I'm still working on because I made some big mistakes. And with acrylics, I was able to just go and, you know, cover the whole area that I wasn't happy with and do a little more research, a couple more drawings and figure it out. And now, you know, now I'm just I put on the back burner while I'm working on other work, but I'll probably get back to it hopefully tomorrow. So yeah,
Are you gonna
acrylics is
share
great.
that with us?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I gotta finish the vineyard one first.
All right.
That's what I'm working on. Great job, Kristen.
Thank you.
Linda, is this the one you wanted to share? I think you're muted, Linda.
I had 2 doctor's appointments last week, a day before and a day after my class. So it was really a struggle and I don't know. My whole point was, is the creek right? And the clouds are a mess.
Okay. It does feel like the creek's going uphill a little bit. So
But
again,
not much.
as things recede into space, do you guys see that? How it just kind of feels like
Yeah.
it's coming down?
Mhm.
So our angles will get a little less severe, actually. So the
Okay.
closer angles are usually more severe. And then it starts to become less.
Okay.
Oftentimes you'll see me doing my creeks and everything in straight lines. But as they go up at an angle a little bit. Also the line underneath the base, the dark line,
Yeah.
is so consistent that it doesn't really feel like it's the shadow of the grasses. I mean, it begins to here, you kind of break that up.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing. You even saw me do it in last week's demo where I just did lines, but then I go and I kind of break that up. So it feels like it's feeding into the shadows of things and maybe, you know, it's not just a hard straight line.
So
but
make
then-
it softer, make it softer right at the water base, just a little bit, like at the grass and in the bank.
Especially where the light is hitting the tops of the grasses and they're kind of coming down.
Yeah. Okay.
But then where the light is on the other side, like in the shadows, then yeah, you can leave it stronger and firmer and break it in. So it's just not a straight line. It kind of flows in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got references of that. And then, yes, I heard you say as I was kind of setting up for class about that you added the yellow at the end and it feels a little too yellow. I
Yes.
do agree. I understand completely what you're trying to do. And so you may just need to bring in some of your purples or pinks or, you know, some other colors slightly on top. And then it does look like either the yellow that you put up here is very transparent or was a little bit wet, or the blue was still wet. And what it does is creates those kind of greens.
Yeah,
more-
the color was still wet. The yellow, the bright yellow I put on this morning and I hit that with I didn't mean to do that. I tried to struggle to get this done and I just, I feel like I don't like to go to the doctor and I've had 2 appointments this week also and last week. So I'm just exhausted from doctor visits, but.
No, I get you. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know why they don't just leave.
And
us
I
alone
tried to mix the King's blue. I mixed manganese blue with a touch of ultramarine and a speck of burnt sienna and white to get the blue, but then it looks gray on the photo, but it looks bluer in person.
Okay, yeah, but I love the gray, blue, Keaton's grayish. Yeah, I like that color a lot. No, it's really nice. It's just not done.
Okay,
I think you're off to the races. I think you also, just like everybody else that we've talked to here, you got those, you've got the idea of the values. That's the most important part. That's what I was after.
okay,
Yeah, so you're coming down to a couple minuscule or, minor things, like changing the colors of these yellows a little bit, however you want to do that. You could probably also use like some darks further back a little bit, not super dark.
okay,
Just to kind of, unless it's just flat all the way to the base of the hill, there's no other trees. And that's up to you. But all in all, really nice. I think that you definitely understood the assignment and did it really quite well.
okay, thank you, that helps.
I love the
Awesome.
tree.
Yeah, nice trees.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
look like little popsicles to me.
A little bit.
None
Yeah,
that
so-
I've ever eaten.
Oh,
Yeah, this one, the trunk is too consistent. Like these have a lot more character. This one definitely feels a little
okay,
less.
I can give
thought
it
out.
some bumps.
There you go. Yeah, nicely done, nicely done, Linda.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. All right, Lisa, were you able to make it today?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, good, good. All right, nice job. They're fun. All right, tell us a little bit about what you got going on here. I think I recognize them.
Well, that's good. That's a start. Yeah, so I'm a week behind. And I tend to paint at night and it's just, and I see it in the daylight and it's like, wow, the colors just look different. Yeah, so I just need to kind of straighten out the waves. They look a little like one goes off at an angle, and I think maybe that's not normal. I tried to do the light source on the left-hand side, but I don't know how successful that was. But I was really looking more at just trying to blend and get the colors in that you got. The trees on the right, this isn't done, but they need to recede, so I need to make them a little bit lighter. And I think that they're too aware of each other and the edge of the painting, so I just need to kind of fill those in a little bit and get them to recede in space, probably with the value.
Nope, man, yeah, you're making my job easy on me here. All correct, and again, nice job though. I mean, this assignment was, not so much about the trees or the waves or anything else, just about those gradients in the sky, and I think you did a really nice job on that. With the trees, we're gonna talk a little bit about that, about putting the brush down and then lifting as you go away, so you don't have, these blunt ends as much. So it's not just a solid brush stroke. Kind of lifting it up as you get towards the edge, or if you're using a fatter brush, you may want to use a brush that on its edge, you can make a pretty nice sharp angle so that you can turn the brush and get it towards its flatter angle side. So you can make, more marks. But all in all, really nice. I mean, hats off. You did what I asked. It was literally about the sky. So that's what I'm really focusing on here. So, some of this other stuff is nice to haves, take you from an A+ to an A++, but all in all, you did the assignment, you did a great job, and I'm very happy with it. And I think these are beautiful transitions. Both of them.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's this is why I wrote the comment saying I'm really, and this is what I've struggled with forever, is just making the edges of the trees. So yeah, I'll try lifting the brush off, but it's also just the light and like, how do I make them not look like I kind of put a stamp down for, it's the edges of the trees meeting the sky that I
Okay.
struggle with consistently.
All right, well, remind me when I'm doing my demo. and I'll
Okay.
see if I can't help you just see a
Oh,
little
you're
bit
gonna do
more of
that
that
demo?
clearly.
Thank you.
All right, Meg, man, I saw you posting a bunch of stuff. You are a busy person's Meg here.
Hi.
Hey. Trying to find you. Sorry, it only shows me a couple of you at a time. There you are. Okay, great. Yeah. Woo. All right. So you got these three, and I think you added a couple others. I'm not wrong.
No, I just do the same picture, but I change it in black and white filter on my phone because I like to check
Yeah.
my
Wow.
value.
Holy cow, that is cool. Squint your eyes at that, you guys. That is neat.
Yeah, that's great.
Like the hand of God there.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, Meg, I'm having a hard time believing that you just started painting recently.
It
Mm.
literally is, this is the first time. I mean, I did watercolor, but I was terrible at landscapes. I did botanicals, like realistic botanicals, but only following tutorials. So these three pictures are the first time I've ever painted on my own
So
without
you know,
tutorials.
not at the risk of making other people feel not as good, you have a strangely innate understanding of edges. Like where
beautiful.
strong edges are, where soft edges are, strong edge, soft edge.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
kind of I don't know if I've ever had a student figure that out so quickly.
She has innate ability.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
something in there that's really interesting to me, because that's something I'm constantly working on. But look at the soft edges. I mean, this just says, hey, folks, look here. This is
Right.
where it's at. Not, up here is interesting, but this is where it's at. And you're doing that from a strong, crisp line to a soft line, darks to lights,
Even in the water.
inverse
Yeah.
of that. Yeah, really interesting, Meg.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, nice job. So, enough being nice, let's just start beating you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The truth is, like, I would like to see these, not quite almost bumping into there. I'd like to maybe see one go behind or something here. The white up in here just doesn't quite feel natural. It's kind of like, the white spots are a little bit off.
Mhm.
That's just quick shift. I mean, just bringing some of that pink into there, or a little of the orange, possibly if it's catching that. Looks like this hill's just, not finished, so don't think I need to talk about that unless that's meant to read as fog.
I just wiped it away and walked away.
Yeah, so that's what it feels like, yeah. And sometimes that's the best thing we can do is kind of step away. So we talked about, edge quality, crisper edges come forward, soft edges go back. But this is the inverse of that. Both of your mountain, all three of your mountains. This is where, if this is your focus, and this is your focus, and this is your focus, then having, crisper edges and going back to softer edges doesn't always work. Sometimes you actually want your crisper edge toward your focus. And so, yeah, I mean, you could put forth the argument that, yeah, I want this as the harder edge, because again, our eyes are drawn towards contrast. Hard edge to soft edge, cool to warm, dark to light. And you're doing that in all of these. So it's really interesting. How do you decide where to have soft edges and where to have hard edges?
I don't. I kind of like soft edges too much, so I have to struggle to make sure I have hard edges.
Yeah, but how do you think where to put them and where not to put them?
I don't. I'm sorry, I really don't think too far ahead. And I will, like, two of those were from a picture, so I looked at the picture. And then the third one with the wild sky, that was just like my imagination. And I just, it was like 1 in the morning and I was just going for it, and yeah, not a lot of thought goes into it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, cause my critique would be the same thing that I'm praising you. I'd be literally
Yeah.
like, well, these are really far back, so maybe the edge shouldn't be that hard. But
Yeah,
this is the focus, this is the focus, and this is the focus, and it totally works.
Mhm.
So that's the weird thing about, that's why I don't say rules, I say guidelines, because sometimes you want them and sometimes you don't. So knowing how to play with edge quality and when to use it, when to not use it. So again, yeah, I could say these could be softer. But I don't think that I think that you're using them to control the viewer. And just like Linda just said, somehow innately, like somehow that you've got a natural way to think. And I think it's partly because that's what you're focusing on. You're like, okay, this is the part that's, you know, the more detailed. This is what's interesting to me. This is what's interesting to me is this area. This is what's interesting to me in this area. So isn't that, I mean, does that make sense to everybody else? Or do I sound like I'm being
Yes.
negative where I'm being mean to everybody else?
No, that
On
makes sense.
On that upper right one, just the way the soft edges there of the mountain, but then that atmosphere that comes in, and also, by the way, your clouds just look like they're wind blown, just really
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Each of them are beautiful, and you have a great innate ability. Go with the flow.
You're one of those people that can paint very well from memory. From the
Yeah.
sound, from your description of what you're doing.
Yeah, good job, Meg. Yeah, really nice. I really don't have a lot of feedback. If you wanted to make this, you know, you could darken in here just a touch more, you know, but that's not necessary because it just looks like there's atmosphere between us and them, which there would be, and they're all the way across the lake there. I don't
Yeah,
have
that
much to add
harder
at this
because I
point.
used only 3 colors, and so I was finding it hard to get as dark as I wanted to.
Mhm. And as soon as any white gets into the mix,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
man, yeah, I'm literally racking my brain for ways to not be so nice, but
No. it's
nicely done.
Nice.
We'll wait till next week. And then
Yeah,
I'll tear you apart. Call that a pair.
that's right.
Nice job, mate.
Thank
All
you.
right, Michelle. Oh, yeah. Tell us a little bit about, is this what one you'd like to talk about?
Well, the references below,
Okey doke.
and I did that this morning before class, so I felt guilty just not having been able to do anything, and so I just wanted to do something kind of quick, and so I did the values underpainting.
Yeah, great. No, I think it's gonna be beautiful. Remember that if you're gonna come in and glaze, that it will get darker, so you may
Right.
wanna touch more light to where you want it to kind of, you know, to illuminate a little bit, but nicely done. I mean, great reference, beautiful. Great colors that really tells the, you know, the color gradient of the sky beautifully. So yeah, I think you're off to a good start here, Michelle. Yeah,
Very pretty.
yeah, I don't have much to add
Beautiful.
on this one either, so.
Thank
Plus,
you.
already. at
Great
11.
darks and lights.
How many more do we have here?
Jeez.
4 more. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly skim, so sorry, I'm gonna cut you guys off and remind me next week to start on the right side. So perfect, great example of the 4 values. Your grasses could probably be a little bit lighter if you wanted to, you know, actually play up the values. Just by looking at the values, I'm not exactly sure where your light is from, because when I look at the towers, it looks like it's from behind us, the lightest lights being close to us. But again, in black and white, sometimes it's hard to tell. But nice job, nice textures. Yeah, I'm curious what you'll end up doing with this, but a nice sense of depth and perspective. Nice job, Nyla. Sorry, I'm not gonna let you talk, because we're gonna do everybody with 1 minute here. And Renee, sorry again, we're gonna get back to you next week. Nice job, I'm still working on my painting of this, great, beautiful colors and great transition. Notice that it doesn't go to green here, that's tricky, isn't it, Renee?
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. I think what I would do is maybe come back with one more pass of some cooler blues into
Okay.
this so that they feel a little more backlit. I'm
Okay.
saying that's exactly what the stage I'm at in this painting.
Okay.
But it really is, it reads nice. It's got a very zen harmonious feel to it. Yeah, you've changed the reference. If you did want it to be close to the reference, there's actually another layer of ground through here, but you know, without knowing the reference, like other people aren't gonna care.
Right.
So it just kind of depends. You've got the general sense and it has a very nice feel and, you know, I've actually taken out the buildings as well, put them in, took them out, put them back in, took them out. I think there's like some barns or a house or something back there. Renee, where do you live?
Shelton, Washington.
Oh, okay, okay. Cause yeah, this is a little wetlands, only about 15 minutes from my house, and this is the back side of it.
Oh,
Back
cool.
on that side's the big open, you know, area with the trails and stuff. This is actually sitting beside a road. On the way to my friend's house, but I was just mesmerized by the softness of it. So you've done a nice job. The other thing is these might be getting a touch warm, but it doesn't. I'm only talking to the reference, I'm only talking to the painting I'm doing. But it doesn't, it actually helps it come forward. These yellows come forward, everything else is so nice and cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I literally could see this in a very relaxing area of a home, you know, where you wanna sit and have your tea and just relax. Nice job.
Thank you.
And Sandy, are you here today?
I am.
Man, this water is so cool. Like looking at the thumbnail, that just looks like a photo right there. Nice job. So when looking at the thumbnail, your values are really reading nicely. You got your darks, your receding lines and hills. Your grass is, you know, it could be a touch darker just compared to the sky if you wanted to, but you know, it really reads well. Did you have anything to add? I cut you off there.
I was just doing the reflection of the sun in the stream was really challenging, and I have no idea how to do it.
But you did it by not knowing what to do. You did what you were seeing because it's catching in those little rivulets so well, you know, where I think when I did it, I just kind of did more what I think and put this straight line down. And this feels so much more naturalistic to a, you know, a 4-inch deep creek with little rivulets of current. I really like it. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite part. And nice job of simplifying. You just kind of cleaned it up and made a nice foundation for you to, if you decide to move forward with this, or you can just leave it as it is. All right, and this is the one I loved last week. Yeah, any questions at all for me on this one?
No, just reflections were, I mean, I spent some time going on line saying, okay, how do you do this kind of reflection? There wasn't a lot of information.
Yeah, there's not, and that's one of the weird things. Like one of my favorite paintings by a friend of mine is one he did a long time ago, and it's a boat. It's painted in Hawaii actually. It's a boat puttering across the scene with the sun setting behind it, and the little, like, not rooster because it's a slow moving boat, but that trail of the water, you know, being disturbed behind it caught
the wake
reflection of the light so well. And it was so interesting. And I still think about that painting almost 20 years later after seeing it. And, you know, and I was asking him, like, how'd you come up with that? He's like, oh, that's just what I saw. Like, that's what happened. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because if you were painting what you know, it doesn't always work, but I mean, this just feels right. Doesn't that feel like the movement of the water and the reflection to everybody?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
Really,
beautiful.
especially in the thumbnail, it's really great. All right, and Sharon, you don't have anything to add this week? Wrestling with puppies all week? Don't know. Anyways, nice job, Sharon, and great. All right, so we are already at 11:30, which leaves us an hour in theory in a normal class, not a Michael Orwick class. We'll see how we're doing and how we're feeling. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 11, just after 11:40, and I will get my everything set up on the easel and paint some pears, trees, sky, and let's we'll feel it out on the vineyard. Otherwise, I'll be painting that tomorrow. And Martha, I didn't get a chance to ask you anything. How's everything going for you, Martha?
Just fine, thank you.
Good, good. Any questions at all before we jump off here?
No, I've been enjoying the commentary on other people's paintings and just haven't posted anything myself yet.
No worries. You should post some of your work that you have done. I see beautiful paintings behind you there, if those are yours.
I'm learning a lot from your class. I really appreciate your class.
Oh, good.
Especially the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's helping me.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we'll see everybody in 10 minutes.
Okay.